back to another live streamed episode of Coffee with the Critters, where we live stream every Sunday morning at 9:30 a.m. Eastern, right here on the Animal Behavior Center's Facebook page and on YouTube. So you can now join me every Sunday morning from both of those locations or one of those locations. So for those that may be new, welcome. My name is Laura Joseph. I am owner of the Animal Behavior Center. We're an international educational center where we teach people all over the world how to empower the lives of the animals in their care, in addition to the people that care for them. You can find out more about our work on our website, theanimalbehaviorcenter.com. You can also email me directly at Lara, Lara, at theanimalbehaviorcenter.com. So good morning, Tim. Good morning, everybody. For those that may be new as well, I focus my work on applied behavior analysis using B.F. Skinner's laws of behavior, and I implement that on the animals in our care. And I work with a wide variety of animals, including the two dogs that I have in my house, Snow, our deaf and blind dog, Levi, our deaf dog, in addition to our plethora, or as my mother would say, my menagerie, which includes a lot of different species of exotic animals, ranging from birds. I also do a lot of work with lemurs, wolves, giraffes, you name it, I'll train it. And training is a team. It's not just me training the animal. I let the animal train me. And when using applied behavior analysis and positive reinforcement, I am sharing a dialogue with the animal to teach it without the use of force, and getting it to do the behaviors that I need it to do, specifically for vet prep, husbandry, a lot of different behaviors to be able to take the stress out of that animal's life, and empower the hell out of that animal. Did I show my email address? Sorry if I didn't. So I have a lot to talk about today, but I want to also just mention a few things before we get started. You can find out more about the information and the work that we do on our website, Laura at or theanimalbehaviorcenter.com. Sorry, it's been a few weeks since I've live streamed. Good morning, everybody. And there you can find out more about our services, our events. You can also find out our events on our Facebook page, in addition to our website. And speaking of events, we're getting ready this time next week. We'll be in the middle of our upcoming parrot enrichment workshop, which is filling up nicely. And I believe we have 2 seats left. You can find more information about that on our website. I think it's even posted here as an event on our Facebook page. Here's the direct link, which that is a lot of verbiage. So before we get started, today I'm going to talk about animal behavior welfare, which is our mission here at the Animal Behavior Center. It is what we focus on, increasing the quality, or making sure that animal is living the best quality life possible. This is my life's work. It is my middle name. So if I sound a little stuffy, it's because I'm getting over getting sick, because I just got home from Alaska, which that is definitely everything about Alaska was definitely me. Anybody that knows me knows that the only time I will cry, one of the only times I'll cry, is when I see something beautiful. Thanks, Tim. And I hit the Yukon this time last week. It was nothing short of amazing. So yes, we did go up into Canada, Northwest Canada, And I can't even put it into words. If you guys have never been there and you love the outdoors, I do, which is why I'm sick, I would not come inside. But it was worth it. Some of the most amazing things I've ever seen in my life. Yes, I did see a lot of wildlife. We traveled all over the place, went to a bunch of different locations, and I kept my eye out. I knew when I was going, I have a mission here. I kept my eye open for places I want to go and see more. We did see a lot of different wildlife, and oops, not that one. That's in my backyard. Um, but anyways, it was great. If you've never been to Alaska, go. I learned so much about history, um, and even found out that Alaska is the second largest rainforest in the world, second to the Amazon. I had no idea it was a rainforest. I guess know better, do better, right? Good morning, Nancy. Good morning, Adrienne. Good morning, Ray. Eva, Charisse, I will see you in a couple of months. So today's topic is on animal behavior welfare, and there's a lot involved. And I took some notes before I started, just so I can better portray this to you. Animal behavior welfare is referred to also animal welfare and animals' well-being, which is a concept that focuses on the physical and psychological well-being of the animals. Sorry, I told you I'm sick. It encompasses the study and assessment of how animals are treated, their living conditions, their overall quality of life. Like I said, this is the goal of the Animal Behavior Center. I entered this field accidentally, but with a passion. I've always had a passion for animals and their quality of life. I entered this field through enrichment, not knowing at the time that studies show if you're actually using positive reinforcement training, it's the animal's preferred form of enrichment. And that's what led me into animal behavior and training. So studies also show that in addition to if you're using positive reinforcement training, it's the animal's preferred form of enrichment. Studies also show that social enrichment is one of the most complex forms of enrichment for an animal and for us. I know that for a fact because I see it every day. And that's another reason why I love training, because that is a form of social enrichment for this animal. If animals are housed alone and they're social animals, I will step in immediately and begin the training. And in one of our services right now, our online services, we're talking about how you do not have to touch the animal in order to train it. I do this all the time with different species of animals, especially those that are fearful of humans. I work and if they have to be in our care, like for example, injured wildlife, because some people know that I still work for Nature's Nursery, a wildlife rehab center. I do not see the animal unless it is injured and cannot be released to the wild. I do not want to see that animal if it is going to be released. But when it can't be released, that's when it sees me. So animal behavior welfare also encompasses the study, and this is important, the study and assessment of how animals are treated, their living conditions, their overall quality of life. And the goal in animal behavior welfare is to ensure that animals are able to live healthy, comfortable, and enriched lives while minimizing suffering and distress as much as possible. Sometimes I see animals that will come in, and it's really important for me, if an animal is fearful, to be able to give it choice and control over its environment, to be able to get away from me if I'm unknowingly pushing the animal past its comfort level. What I will pay attention to is the rate of the behavior of that animal going to that hiding area to get away from me. That rate shows me that I'm positively punishing the behavior I'm trying to train or desensitize. If that animal's behavior of going to that area of retreat maintains or increases, I'm pushing the animal past its comfort level. So, some key aspects. Adrian says, I wish more people understood that touching comes later, if ever, once the animal learns that you can be trusted. And so, exactly, Adrian. One thing I was going to say is when I'm working with an animal, if it's showing fear of me, I will increase distance as much as I have to, really analyze positive reinforcers if I have any to work with, because when you're working with a lot of fearful animals, sometimes you cannot work with food and you don't want to just rely on food. Reinforcers are so much more than food. What I find through the majority of the work that I do, that if I'm working with a fearful animal, what I will find through training them is if I'm using positive reinforcement effectively, that soon, once the animal starts to understand and be able to trust me and know that I'm not going to push it past its comfort level, soon I will see the opportunity to be with me or to be near me becomes one of the animal's higher valued positive reinforcers. One area I don't want to get stuck on is to become that animal's favored person, because that is not going to work in the animal's best interest in the future, because there's going to be periods of time where I am not interacting with the animal. I am not the animal's caretaker. And that puts stress on the animal for somebody new coming in to take my place temporarily. So I will be the only one training the animal in the beginning until I have effectively identified positive reinforcers, assessed the environment, get a good read on behavior. Then I will start moving in other people to train and understand these animals. So I will pay close attention to the animal's physical health. This involves ensuring that the animals have access to proper nutrition, clean water, fresh air, appropriate shelter. It also includes addressing health issues promptly, providing veterinary care, and preventing illnesses, being proactive, and treating injuries and diseases as soon as possible. It also includes their behavioral health, where the animal should be able to not only express its natural behaviors, but be free of fear and distress, including avoiding situations that cause physical or emotional harm, such as overcrowding, neglect, and abusive treatment. That is definitely not in my repertoire. So there's different ways we can monitor behavioral health. I look for things, you guys hear me talk about this a lot. Abnormal repetitive behaviors. Those are behaviors that seem to be stereotypical, starting to develop, usually under human care. I don't know. I'm sure abnormal repetitive behaviors exist in the wild as well. And not all abnormal repetitive behaviors are those are key indicators. Those are behaviors I can see and rate and collect data on, to better understand the animal. I want to make sure that abnormal repetitive behaviors do not happen. out of finding a way to cope with an environment it has little or no control over. I am big into empowering animals and creating environments that allow as much opportunity for the animal's individual choice, the animal's control over its environment. And I also make sure I shape and include complexities in the animal's environment. Um, because I also know that stagnant environments can lead to abnormal repetitive behaviors. Stagnant environments can lead to decreased quality of mental state. They can also be Stagnant environments can also lead to medical issues. So this is why I always say it's really important to keep your animal used to change. And I do that through shaping, reinforcing small approximations towards desired behaviors. Okay. I better get moving because I got a lot to talk about, and I knew this half hour would fly fast. Freedom from discomfort. Animals should be kept in environments that are comfortable and free from unnecessary discomfort, including providing suitable temperature, ventilation, bedding, and allowing for natural behaviors. I don't think some of this needs to be mentioned, but I am mentioning it for people out there who want to do better. Um, Animal behavior welfare will also focus on giving the animal freedom from hunger and thirst. They should always have an adequate, whatever that means, do your research. I am consistently researching diet. Um, Adequate diets, um, as well as clean water and meeting that individual animal's nutritional needs. This is where we will also focus on foraging, the act of the animal searching for food, working for its food for numerous different reasons. There's a presentation I give that says that's titled Work is Not a Four-letter word. In order to change behaviors, you need to replace it with another behavior. And if I'm seeing abnormal repetitive behaviors develop out of lack of opportunity for other things to do, I will assess the whole situation. And this is why foraging is a huge part of, good morning, Shelley. This is why foraging is a huge part of our animals' daily activities. Because if you want a behavior to change, what behavior are you going to replace it with? Foraging is, I don't want to say an easy one. Foraging is one of my first go-tos because it helps create the animal's individual independence from us. I don't, through training, and if studies show that positive reinforcement training is the animal's preferred form of enrichment, I don't want to be the animal's preferred form of enrichment or the only preferred form of enrichment. I need that animal to be able to thrive and stay independent from me, because when I'm gone, what's going to happen? Okay. Ray said I froze. Did I freeze for anybody else? Freedom from fear and distress. I think I already talked about this in the beginning when I was talking about making sure the animal has places to hide. What else? I was going to say something about fear. Hey, Ray, I'm told by other people that I am not frozen, so you might want to just refresh your screen. I know what I was going to say. If I'm working with an animal through protective contact, meaning something is between myself and the animal, and I'm working with a particular object, such as dremeling their nails, whatever, do I have a true read on this behavior and that the animal is definitely not fearful of what I'm doing? A way you could test it is take whatever you're using and put it into the animal's environment without any type of protection and see what the animal acts to that object. If the animal attacks it, you may want to reassess what you're doing. Okay, so the animal should be free of fear during training, handling, implementation of enrichment, transportation, and any other type of human interaction. I know that every animal in my care needs to be seen by a vet, so we prepare and train the animal for veterinary care. Right now, I'm working with the wolves and getting them prepped for a veterinary exam. I'm doing this through protective contact. I'm getting them to line up parallel with the fencing in front of me. Those of you that are in our memberships and one of our membership levels are watching me work with the wolves, how I'm getting them to get ready for a veterinary exam. Animal behavior welfare will also focus on freedom from pain, injury, or disease. I don't know if I need to go into that. Just mentioning that steps should be taken to prevent, diagnose, and treat illness or injuries in animals. And this is where the training is extremely important. If possible, you want to train these animals for this before an accident occurs, a disease happens, because if you can, you train for this before, because it will take the stress out of the veterinary exam. And there's a lot of delivery of medications, whether that be orally or so what you don't want to happen, if you can avoid it, is have to force the animal for the veterinary exam, through the veterinary exam, and to take medication once the animal is sick. Because now you are inducing even more stress onto an animal that is already stressed. Animals should have the opportunity to experience positive emotions and a good overall quality of life. This involves promoting positive experiences and minimizing negative ones. This is the importance on training using applied behavior analysis. So animal behavior, let me read what I had typed out before, because I want to end on this note. Animal behavior welfare is a subject of concern in various fields, including, and not limited to, agriculture, research, entertainment, and companion animal care. And I want to add in education, because education is where I fall. Also, there's hard laws, and if you haven't had them implemented on you yet, they may soon be. Laws and regulations are often in place to protect the welfare of animals. An organization dedicated to animal welfare work to ensure that animals are treated humanely and their needs are met. Promoting animal welfare requires many things, considering physical and psychological aspects of an animal's life. It also involves ongoing research to better understand the needs and behaviors of different species, as well as advancements in animal care practices to continually improve their well-being. And that's what I do, is I am continually assessing myself, assessing my approach. We are very serious about the quality of care of animals. That's why we work with the array of species that we do, and we live stream showing how we do this to help others who want to know how to do better. We work with a lot of different birds. We work with a lot of different, I would say reptiles, but no, I don't. I work with a lot with alligators. We work with wolves. We work with lemurs. We work with anything that comes our way. And so it's maybe different species, but it is the same science. And I do have a presentation on that as well. So if you haven't yet used or looked at our enrichment workshop coming up this weekend, it's almost full. We're really excited because it focuses on enrichment. And even though it's a parrot enrichment workshop, we do have several attendees coming from different organizations that work with numerous different species of animals. So we are going to get knee deep in enrichment, in assessing enrichment, what's appropriate for the animal, what's safe, how to implement, shaping complexities, the importance of change. A little bit of training will be in there as well. And then we're going to make enrichment. We're going to implement it. We're going to see and we're going to analyze, is the animal looking at or interacting with it? If not, pull it. If enrichment stays in there for too long and the animal is not interacting with it, guess what? It's not enrichment. Enrichment, the animals need to be learning from it. They need to be manipulating, destroying, curious, empowering the 3 C's: choice, control, and complexities. So with that being said, we also have our workshops, which are training workshops, which are done for 2023, but we're already scheduling them for 2024. We know one is going to sell out like that because it keeps selling out every year, each time we have it. We also have different services where you can come and train with me individually. Just spend 1, 2, or 3 days, just me and you, or me and your organization. You are by my side. You tell me what your concerns are, what your challenges are, and I pick the animal that we work with numerous different species of animals. And I'm like, all right, here's a situation. I know exactly the species of animal or the individual animal we need to work with. Show me how you do this. And if you struggle, I'm jumping in right beside you, showing you how to train that. That's a day with the trainer. We also have our webinars, our memberships. Speaking of memberships, this is the first time I'm showing the public. We have our different levels of online memberships that we offer. This one, Foundations of Animal Training and Behavior. These are annual online subscriptions to viewing my live streams, watching me work, me interacting with you. This one is based on more for companion animals. We also have another one that we work with a lot of different animal organizations, advanced applied animal training and behavior. This is where you'll see me at my live streams and our group discussions and our podcasts, working with an array of species. Speaking of podcast, I will be recording your next podcast in your membership level next week. As I mentioned, we also have our webinars. If you go to the Animal Behavior Center's website, you will find an area on there for our online services. That's where you'll see our webinars, and we're getting ready to live stream another webinar coming up in November. So if you have questions you want to ask me, topics for upcoming Coffee with the Critters, if you have a question about our memberships, our workshops, you can always email me at laura@theanimalbehaviorcenter.com. I am always on my computer. And hey, Terry, up there in Mackinac Island, I will be up there next year. Hey, Debbie. So with that being said, I want to thank everybody for attending today, and I will see you next Sunday morning for Coffee with the Critters at 9:30. I am also scheduling guests even as far out as February. I've got one booked for February 11th at 4:00 in the afternoon. That'll be a Coffee with the Critters you do not want to miss. So you can pay attention to our events on our website. With that being said, I will see you. Ray says, I love the automatic renewals on your membership, so you don't forget to renew. Thanks, Ray. Thanks for being a huge supporter. All right, guys, I'll see you next Sunday. Thank you.